Hello again, and welcome back to the Florida Aviation Network's live streaming from the Sun and Fun campus at the Lakeland Linder Regional Airport, or International Airport, excuse me. My name is Ron Timmermans. I'm one of the many hosts with the Florida Aviation Network, and we're broadcasting live and in the clear, and I'm delighted to have you join us today for yet another interesting interview, this time with Mr. John Zapp from the Flying Musicians Association. So if you haven't been to Sun and Fun yet this year, this is the opening day, of course. If you're here, that's great. If you haven't made it here yet, but you're coming tomorrow or the next day or sometime throughout the week, I'm delighted to have you come here and see all the fun things to do and places to visit and items to see here at Sun and Fun Aviation Expo. So it's been a tough year. Last year, you remember, we weren't unable to have a Sun and Fun because of the pandemic. And so now this year, with the pandemic presumably on the decrease and people coming out and still doing appropriate social distancing and wearing masks and the like, we're delighted to see each other and to share aviation stories and learn about each other's backgrounds and the like. And so that's what we're going to do today in the next few minutes with Mr. John Zapp. John, with the Flying Musicians Association, it's good to have you back again at Sun and Fun and to the Florida Aviation Network. Thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me. It's always great to be back with our aviation friends and music friends, and it's been a tough year. And I think the last event that, as an association, we attended was in Anaheim in January of 2019, or 2020 actually. And we got back from that and found out about the flu, and then we received word that some of the exhibitors were from Wuhan and at the event, and didn't think anything of it, but it stopped everything else. I gave out some keychains today that we had purchased prior to Sun and Fun last year, and I was getting ready to make another order, and it dawned on me I ordered some last year and never had an event to give them out to, so we're very happy to be back.
Well, that's great. That's great. Well, John, Flying Musicians Association kind of connotes what it is you do, but tell us a little bit more about the organization.
Well, it does kind of, more so than explain what we do, it's who we are. We are pilots who are musicians, and any proficiency level, whether you're an ATP pilot or a student pilot or a recreational pilot. And the same way with music, whether you're a professional musician who plays in a major band, a major group, studio musicians, all the way down to student musicians, as well as the in-between folks who play gigs, maybe rarely or rarely for most of us in the last year, but so we're people with two passions: aviation, music. We love to fly. We love to talk about airplanes and see airplanes and be around people who enjoy airplanes as well. And same way with music. We go to the music events and just love to be around them. So it's all about the passion.
So, John, to be a member of the association, do you have to be both, or can you be one and interested in the other? Actually,
that was a very good question we had 12 years ago when we founded the association. It was, should we be an inclusive or an exclusive organization? Should we be someone who says, oh, you have to be a professional pilot, you have to be a professional musician to join, or can you just have a passion? And it goes back to the passion. It's about passion, and for us, fun. So if you have a passion for aviation music and you want to support what we do, we'd love to have you. And that's really the entry pass, is the passion. Because whether you fly full-time or whether you fly once in a while, same way with music, if you're passionate about it and you want to support it, we want you.
Well, I mean, that's good, and I'm sure you have a number of members. How large is the organization?
Well, we've now surpassed 800, and it's being a niche like this, that's an awesome number for me. What's, I think, more exciting is that we have members all over the world. Just sent a welcome package to Sweden. A member joined up last month from Sweden. A young lady signed up from Australia. You know, they're all over the place. So the network is what it's all about, really. I mean, down to the brass tacks, it's all about the network. People who can work with each other, help each other through situations, whether, again, it's through an academic or a job or avocation. in music and or aviation, how to navigate the obstacles, how to overcome certain roadblocks that are in your way that can help you succeed as a person.
So people that may be interested in something like this and haven't heard of it before, I imagine there's a website that they could go to. Is it flyingmusicians.org?
Yes.
Okay.
It's real simple, flyingmusicians.org, and we've been around long enough now that you put in a search engine, Flying Musicians Association, and boom, it'll pull up.
Pops
and
up.
We've been in social media and on the website since the inception. In 2008 is when I started the website, and some of the social media. 2009 is when we officially kicked it off and everything. So it's out there. It's easy to find, and the website was just redesigned last year. Mm-hmm. So it's now no longer 10 years old. Things on the internet seem to change quickly, and when we adopted the platform in 2008, it was latest greatest then, CMS platform, and we recently had to throw that out and start all over again. But should be easy for you to come and explore who we are, what we do, what's going on, what happened. Sun and Fun is on there this week. We just came out with a newsletter last month, and telling about our presence here, and we invite musicians amongst the pilots out here to join us where we have a stage in Paradise City, and come over and chat or play some music for us, and for
so impromptu
jamming and
Yeah,
playing, and
good.
people stop in all the time, and it's a great thing about Sun and Fun is that there are people from all over are
So
here, and
bring an instrument, bring your voice.
or we have some instruments there, so you can pick one up and play.
Very good. What would be the most unusual instrument that you've seen show up at one of your events?
I think it would be the pocket horn, the pocket trumpet.
Pocket trumpet.
Yeah, it's a pocket trumpet. You've seen the little blue, purple bags that some alcohol. I can't name the brand.
Oh yes. I mean, I've been told about it.
You've been told about it
Yes.
too, yeah. Well, I saw this bag and I was wondering what the heck was this. We were at we were doing music at AirVenture, probably about 5 or 6 years ago. We had a pavilion, and he had this bag, and I was wondering what the heck. And so he pulls out a little trumpet. He gets up on stage and he jams, and he's doing some ad-libbing, and it's awesome. And
Wow.
it's a very little horn.
It's like the crowning event out of that little
It's
blue
like
bag, was it?
It was the crowning event for the evening, yes.
Yeah, and he was part of royalty, or not necessarily? After that he was.
Yeah, he might have been a royal. I don't know. There were no solo cups.
No, so okay,
Yeah.
that's probably best. All right, well, you've told us who you are and some of the things that you do as far as impromptu music and the like, to include here at Sun and Fun. What else are you into relative to young people and young musicians and bringing them up into the aviation world?
Yeah, that's the interesting part of the whole thing. It's the networking, and as I mentioned earlier, we started 7 years ago a scholarship program for young high school musicians who have a desire to learn to fly. And it was a major hit. It's probably a very unique scholarship, and it's called the FMA Solo program. So it's really a program that has a scholarship component to it. And we've given out 13 scholarships now, just over 2 a year, and we'll start our 7th year coming up. That's this year that we will award the scholarships the 1st of May.
So it's a scholarship, but it's unlike a traditional scholarship, I'm hearing.
It's really interesting because what we do is, instead of the high school junior or senior applying for it, we require that a nomination be received from their music instructor.
Ah.
And then once that's received, the program part of it is that all of these nominees actually receive a student membership into the organization. We welcome them in, we give them a welcome package with shirts and everything else that we have, and products and brochures from our sponsors. and they now become a part of the network. Then out of those nominees, we select the finalists, and then the finalists are voted on for the scholarships. And typically it's 2 to 3 a year. One year we had 4. It's very dependent on the donations received. And this scholarship then now helps them financially as well as materially. And I guess the mentor part of it is that I mentor them through the navigational process of finding a flight instructor, finding an airport, finding an airplane, the flight school, what have you, and then set them up and talk to the school, the flight instructor, et cetera, make sure they're getting a very good deal. And we financially support them through solo, which is typically around 15 hours of dual instruction. We've got sponsors like Sporty's Pilot Shop who donate the Learn to Fly courses. We've got Gleim who donates their air courses as well and their test prep and their Sport Pilot Program courses. And let's see, Bose has been a sponsor, and My Go Flight has sponsored some awesome flight bags with our logo embroidered on them. And the list just goes on. Hartzell Propeller has been a huge sponsor for the last 3 years. Hartzell Engine Technologies, who bought one of the companies who was a big sponsor, and that was Skytech, a starter company out in Texas. Rich with Skytech was a big proponent of the scholarship program when it came out, and he funded scholarships for the first 3 years. And then when he sold the company to Hartzell Engine Technologies, he put in a good word, and they picked up the mantra, and then Hartzell Propeller popped in. And so companies like Dyer, the TBM folks, they've donated, Piper. The list just continues to go on.
Wow,
sponsors.
You've got quite an impressive list of sponsors.
Sure. So good. It's and it takes a village. I mean, it takes a lot of people to really do this. And the great part of it is that these individuals are all given products and what we call swag that these sponsors and others donate every year. So they are introduced to the various periodicals like Aviation, the magazine, and these companies, Avemco is a sponsor, and Bose, and I mean, it just keeps on going. So they get introduced to the plethora of what's in aviation, and then the music industry is doing the same thing, so they get both.
So you're getting some sponsors from the music industry as well.
Yes,
that's good.
Yeah,
That's
Voyager Guitar is a big sponsor, and Journey Instruments in Austin, Texas, and then we go to the major music events. There's 2 that we call major for us, and it's the National Association of Music Merchants. It's like Oshkosh and Sun 'n Fun. It's like AirVenture and Sun 'n Fun. The NAM show is in Anaheim in January, and it is the grand show. It's
being National
Association of Music Merchants.
Music Merchants. Okay.
And these are all manufacturers and suppliers of musical instruments and the accessories. And of course, they sponsor major name artists, and so the artists come as well. And so there's all kinds of performances. There's all kinds of entertainment and instructional seminars. So it's very similar to AirVenture.
Yeah.
And it's huge. And then they have what they call Summer NAM, which is on par with Sun 'n Fun. It's smaller, but still big and growing, and it's in Nashville, Tennessee.
What a great place for it.
Yeah, in July. So,
yeah.
I head to NAM in Nashville, the Summer NAM show, and then straight on up to Wisconsin for AirVenture. And
then eventually to LA for the big NAM show.
LA.
That's great.
We've got some great members out there that fly in the area, so they're always willing to, if a member comes to town, they're always willing to take them up flying and show them the area, and it's
what an interesting marriage you have with the music industry and the aviation industry, bringing them both together in the Flying Musicians Association. This is great. And I'm thinking now, if there's a young person that is already a musician, has an interest in music, they could apply for one of these scholarships if they have an interest in aviation and wanted to pursue at least ab initio training through
They must
solo.
be nominated.
They must be nominated by their music instructor or their teacher.
And all nominees receive a free membership that's good throughout their academic year. So even if they decide to go get a PhD, as long as they're still in school,
they stay a member of the organization.
Yeah.
Good. And so, what would the applications be judged on? If what kind of criteria would be important for someone that has an interest in music and also now a budding interest in aviation and wanted to compete for one of the scholarships?
Well, the number one requirement is that they be a high school junior or senior.
Junior or senior. Okay.
Yes, and have a passion. As I said before, it all goes back to the passion of the individual. And the nominees that we've received, we roughly get 30 a year throughout North America, including Canada. And we've given 2 scholarships in Canada.
Oh, really?
Over the last 7 years. And this year we actually got one from Hawaii and one from Puerto Rico.
Wow.
But out of those, we select, and they're just incredible individuals. They're the cream of the crop. They're the go-getters. They're the ones involved in a lot of things in school. Their academics are way above average, and their extracurricular activity, whether it be music, and most of them are hugely involved in music, and then not only at school but also in the communities. So these individuals are high achievers, have a real good hand-eye coordination and a propensity to achieve what they set out to.
So they start out as high achievers academically and go even higher, I guess we could say.
You know, it's amazing. I keep hearing from professional musicians who now got bit by the bug, aviation bug, and they're doing everything they can. And Vinny Raniolo is a good example. He lives in New York. And he plays with Tommy Emmanuel. He plays all over the world. He's a world-class guitarist. And he got hit by the bug, and he is now, I think about a year now, he's had his CFI, a certified flight instructor. And I asked him if he was coming to Sun and Fun, because he said last year he was coming. And unfortunately it was canceled. And so I talked to him about 2 weeks ago, and I said, "You are planning on coming, aren't you?" He says, "No, I've got to go to school for my type rating in a Learjet to fly Lear 45, I think 47." And so it's like, okay.
Okay, that's a good excuse, I guess.
Yeah. So we'll catch you at AirVenture perhaps. But so he has gone from a world-class musician, top of the top. Tommy Emmanuel's probably one of the best guitarists out there. And he just got that bug, and he went for it. And he's now going to be flying corporate.
So it's possible for people to pursue 2 passions in life and get higher and higher.
It is very possible, and it's possible to even a passion that you may not have fostered, nurtured, a passion that you maybe kept suppressed.
Yeah.
All of a sudden for it to spring forward. And associations like Flying Musicians is a perfect place for these folks to jump on, because they see it, they go, "Oh, I love to fly," or "I want to learn to fly, and I'm a musician, join." And
so you're an incubator, if you will.
I think so, and it just dawned on me the other day when someone said you're a mentor, and it's like, oh, yes, I guess we are a mentor. You know, the association does do that. We nurture people with passions.
What a wonderful thing to do, and how fulfilling that must be for you.
It is. It's probably one of the best spectator sports, is to actually help one another and watch them grow.
It is.
And when you see that, because especially when you get a high school senior or junior, within 5 years they're graduating from college.
Yeah.
You know, and our first college recipient is now flying fighters in the Air Force.
How wonderful.
He went into University of Florida for the Air Force ROTC program, went through their program engineering, wants to be a test pilot, got a pilot slot in the Air Force, and now he's flying. And so it's wonderful to see him as a high school senior, you know, who won the scholarship, learned to fly over in Vero, where Piper is.
Good deal.
Boom, here he is.
Wonderful. John, where is your association headquartered?
Well, that's a good question. We actually, we started the association in Texas, and that's where it's incorporated. We are a 501c3 nonprofit corporation. And after several years of trying to decide where to actually establish a permanent headquarters where we can have an annual gala to bring in pilots and musicians, and a place where we can perpetuate this organization ongoing, we've been looking, and there's a town in northwest Arkansas that I will not name it, but they are very excited about the possibility of helping us to bring this to fruition. And that's we'll find out more in probably a couple weeks, but talks have gone real well, and I'm looking forward to it, announcing that.
So stay tuned to an exciting announcement before long as to the new world headquarters for the Flying Musicians
And I'd like
Association.
to do that on through fans' interview.
Well, maybe we'll do another interview with you just purposely for that, if that's okay.
We'll have to do that.
That's good. That's good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been John Zapp, President and CEO of Flying Musicians Association Incorporated, the man with the signature hat, who is both a musician and an aviator, and very much a mentor of young people, helping them to get and receive a scholarship for ab initio training up through solo and mentoring them through the process, inspiring them in music and inspiring them in aviation. What a great combination. John, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Ron,
and
for
sharing your passion with us. So this has been great. My name is Ron Timmermans. I'm one of the many, sorry Ben, one of the many hosts for the Florida Aviation Network. It's been a long day already. And thank you for joining us at the Sun and Fun Aviation Expo 2021, Lakeland, Florida. Please come back again tomorrow. We've got many more interesting interviews tomorrow, so we'll see you again soon. Thank you much.